Okay, now that we finished the guess and check method, does anyone have any questions before we move on? No? Okay. So the next thing that we're going to go over is we're going to go over using algebra to help us solve a word problem. Okay, now we're going to use the same word problem. So Adriana has been promoted to head salesperson of an art gallery. Adriana has two choices of how she'll be paid. She can receive $50 for every art piece she sells, or she can receive $250 a week plus $25 for every art piece that she sells. In the past year, she averaged 9.3 sales per week. However, Adriana's goal is to sell more art pieces this year. So we're trying to find out which plan would be a better plan for Adriana. Which way of her getting paid would be better. Okay? So, using algebra, the steps are, first, you're going to read the problem. Write down and highlight what is given or what is required. Step 2, select a variable. Select a variable. Now, if you look at your notes, we have definitions, and a variable is the unknown number represented by a letter. Okay? Step 3, write in a symbolic language step by step. When you do these problems, I want you to show me step by step. Don't do half of it in your head and then just, do the rest on the paper or vice versa. I want to see all steps. Step 4, look for quantities which are equal and form an equation. Now, an equation, if you look on your notes, is a number sentence with an equal sign. An equation has to have an equal sign. Step 5, solve the equation. And then step 6 is check your answer. Okay, so we have two different ways that Adriana can get paid. We have $50 for every art piece, or she could receive $250 a week plus $25 per art piece. Okay, so we read the problem, we highlighted what is given. Okay, we're going to select a variable. I selected X and Y. X and Y is popular in math, so I'm going to have Y equal Adriana's weekly salary, X equal the number of art pieces she sells. Okay, so these are my two variables. Yes, Emily, you could have any variable that you want. If you want A and B, just make sure that you put A equals, let A equal this and let B equal that. You have to let us know, what your variable is equaling. Okay? Now, plan A. Adriana gets $50 for every art piece she sells. So we're trying to find out how many art pieces Adriana has to sell for her to, for each plans to be equal. Okay, for each plans to be equal. So $50 for every art piece. So $50 times how many art pieces? All right, that's for plan A. Now for plan B, she could receive $250 a week plus $25. So plan B, I'm going to have X equals 250 plus 25 times X. Okay, how many art pieces is she going to have to sell? Okay, so let's set up an equation. We are going to have an equation of 50, how many pieces, equals $250 plus 25 for every art piece. At how many art pieces does she have to sell? Okay, so we got to think back to learning our our algebra. Okay, when you have an x, when you have a variable, you want that variable by itself, correct? Okay, so we are going to have, we have an x over here by himself, so let's get rid of this x. You're going to subtract 25x. When you do it on one side, you got to do it to the other. 25x. 50 minus 25 is correct. What is 25x okay, equals $250 because we already subtracted the 25x and moved it over. Now, what do? We divide. Divide 25 because we're trying to get x by itself. 25's cancel and x equals 25 goes into 250. How many times? 10 times. 10 times. So x equals 10. X equals 10. You could check it if you plug it in. Remember, on our guess and check, she has to sell 10 art pieces, which she would get paid $500. So if you plug this 10 in, you're going to get 500. 250 plus 25 times 10, 250 plus 250 is 500. So you could check. So just as our guess and check, Adriana has to sell 10 pieces to be, for the plans to be at the same. Okay? Does anyone have a question? Anybody have a question? Yes, that's right. You could equal, any variable. Okay? Just let me know what it equals. Right here, you have to let me know what it equals. And then carry it throughout the whole problem. Okay, if there's no other questions, we're going to go to our third function. Our third function is going to be bar models. A bar model. Now, our bar model